music with my bro. Will it dig it, yes or no? Here we go on with the show, the Hear Me Out Bro Podcast.
Hey everybody, welcome to episode 28 of the Hear Me Out Bro Podcast. I'm Eric. I'd like to introduce my brother Clark.
Hello.
Today we are doing the third and final Folkuary episode.
We did it.
Yeah, I had to say third because I couldn't say fourth because we're only doing 3 of them. This week, Clark will be covering folk metal. So he's going to give us a primer. And also, like, just a couple things off the top. You know how I don't know if you've said it, but I'll say, oh, well, I didn't pick them for this list because I want to cover them in their own episode.
Yeah.
Yeah, like that doesn't apply here. Like just because you included them on our folk metal episode, this is just going to be like a primer on folk metal.
Yes.
So just because you play Corpa Kalani or something doesn't mean we won't have a Corpa Kalani episode
100%.
dedicated to just them in the future, right?
Yeah, because I did a couple things a little different. First of all, every band has 2 entries because folk metal has a lot of variation to it. So just having one song from each band kind of wouldn't capture it. And I almost went for live videos for a bunch of stuff because like that's its native element, is like a live performance. But like the sound quality was just too inconsistent. So I just went back for the like official videos if I could.
Yeah.
I could throw together like a live playlist. Or if you're listening to this podcast, you should come to a folk metal show with me because that is the proper way to experience it.
Okay, I have a few things to like help me through tonight.
Yeah.
So first off, I have the latest edition of UC Virtanen's Field Guide to Northern Eurasian Pelts to kind of help me out. And then also I thought like I'd kind of do like a little bingo thing on the side.
Okay. So
I'm going to give you 100 points for every video that doesn't have something burning in it. So I'll keep a tally and we'll see how many points you end up with at the end of the night for every video that doesn't have something burning in it.
All right. Well, first of all, or like additionally, the drinking game magic word will not be Finland because I don't want our few listeners to die of liver failure.
Okay.
So, and then, you know, even if you're just drinking water for the drinking game, you might still get that, like, what is it, hydrosis or whatever, where you're like too hydrated.
Sip responsibly.
Yes. Finland is
add ice.
Well represented on the list.
Nice.
So the other thing is folk metal and pagan metal are like a Venn diagram that is like has a ton of overlap. And so some of these bands are less folky folk metal. The other thing is like it's kind of like what's the rectangles and squares or goats and sheep. Like all goats are sheep, but not all sheep are goats, keeping with the pelts theme. So pretty much all folk metal is pagan metal, but not all pagan metal is folk metal. So
got it.
The criteria that I had for this playlist was they have to have some sort of like non-traditional rock and roll instrument, like something that like is a throwback. So like a hurdy-gurdy or an accordion or a violin or bagpipes or a flute or something like that. Something that's not guitar, bass, drums, or like, you know, in addition to those.
Yeah, kind of like with the peanut butter chocolate kind of thing, like when you combine 2 things. Like I don't listen to a lot of this kind of music, which is why I didn't add anything to the playlist. But like what I'm going to be looking for is like, is the folk good folk? And is the metal good metal? So it's like if both those things are good, because sometimes you hear things where people combine things and it's like, yeah, it's a combination of those things, but like, you know, are both elements that they're bringing to it. Like on point.
Right.
So, and I'm sure they will be, knowing you. So,
hopefully. Yeah, and I'll have a few honorable mentions.
Okay.
There's a ton of totally awesome folk metal out there, but I don't know. Some of it I like more than others. So.
Oh, we had a comment on the YouTubes. Thanks from your friend
Tyler.
He said his mom's favorite band was Bread, and they're
cool.
kind of folk rock, but I would consider them more soft rock. So we will be doing a soft rock episode of all that kind of music down the road sometime.
Will that be before or after the Donnie Benet episode?
It may be concurrent with it. If you'd like to listen along to our playlist, you can find us on YouTube at HMOBP. And we also have our episodes posted there, if that's a better way for you to check out the podcast. If you'd like to follow us on Facebook, we have a group there, the HMOB. And if you follow us there, you'll get notifications on when a new episode drops, and little side quests from our episodes show up there from time to time.
Nice.
And if you'd like to contact us with any critiques or show ideas or comments, you can reach us at hearmeoutbropodcast@gmail.com. All lowercase, all one word.
Hang on. Is that beeping on your end?
I thought it was beeping on your end. Oh, wait. It's the mail truck.
Hey, the mail truck.
Mail truck!
You've got mail.
We have some letters from fans writing to us.
Do.
So we're going to go ahead and read those on the show.
Reach into the sack of letters.
Yeah.
Fish one out.
Reach into the mail sack. If you want to hear any of your letters read on the show, go ahead and shoot us one at the aforementioned Hear Me Out Bro podcast @gmail.com. But our first letter today is from Caden. So Caden with a Y, him from Thousand Oaks writes, "Yo, hear me out, bros. Okay, listen, I've been vibing with your show for a minute now, but after your last folk episode, I'm heated. And not in an, I'm mildly annoyed kind of way. More like a, did I just listen to 2 full hours of music opinions and you didn't mention Mumford & Sons kind of way? What is actually happening right now? Am I living in a parallel universe where Mumford & Sons didn't literally birth the entire modern folk revival, and Little Lion Man wasn't playing on repeat at every indie coffee shop from San Francisco to Brooklyn? I'm not mad. I'm confused at this point. It's like talking about skateboarding and forgetting Tony Hawk. That's how glaring this omission is. Folk without Mumford is like campfire with no marshmallows. It just don't work. And if you don't get that, I'm starting to think your next episode should be about biggest posers in history starring you."
Whoa, dude.
Ouch. So yeah, fix it. Next episode, I want you to do the decent thing and give Mumford their due. I don't care if they're mainstream or whatever. They're the foundation of this genre. Don't leave us hanging like this again, or I'm going to have to start a petition. And trust me, I'm fully capable of making a change.org campaign in my sleep. Anywho, chilling with my banjo and side-eyeing your podcast for now. Peace out. Ooh.
Dang.
Harsh words from Caden, but
Spicy. Down in Thousand Oaks.
I mean, we asked for critiques, so I guess we got them. And
that's true.
I apologize. We're not going to be able to include Mumford & Sons.
Well, we stated at the very beginning of the show that we only review music that we like. Like, we're not going to, talk trash about stuff we don't like. And it's like, well, I have yet to like Mumford and Sons, partially because
I'm not even sure I know any of their songs.
I couldn't pick them out of a lineup.
Yeah. And you can't include everybody. I mean, if we're everybody that strums a guitar and sings into a microphone at Coachella, we're gonna have to probably have Taylor Swift.
Right. Which, at some point I might get into Taylor Swift. I mean, all those fans,
it might help us get more listeners.
All those fans can't be wrong.
Yeah, maybe we should do a T Swift episode, and
I mean,
maybe have a whole episode on K-pop.
To be fair, 50-year-old dudes with beards aren't the target demographic for either of those genres.
Yeah.
So, but getting back to Mumford and Sons, like kind of the barrier for entry for me is like the whole, I know it's an outdated and problematic term, but the lumbersexual vibe.
Oh.
It's also their fan base. Like their fan base is just so abrasive. Like, people talk about like Slayer fans and how like crazy Slayer fans are.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, they're like a legion of orcs and stuff. But like, man, they don't hold a candle to Mumford fans. Those people will flip your car over and light it on fire.
So thanks, Caden.
It's not that I don't like them. It's just, I can't trust them.
It could be that I don't like them. It could be.
Could be.
I just haven't heard enough to know that I don't like them yet.
Yeah, we don't really spend a lot of time in indie coffee shops either.
Yeah, I don't drink coffee at all.
I'm
a chai guy, but I roll my own.
I switched to tea after quit my job at the post office. I didn't need the massive amounts of caffeine just to function. So I quit.
Well, and if we can give you some advice as old guys with like more life experience, you can save a ton of money if you don't go to those fancy coffee shops.
It's true.
Like pack a sack lunch.
Yeah.
Take it to work. Make your own beverages.
Yeah. Make coffee at home. I mean, you can be as like fancy and pour over elitist as you want, but then it's like you're the one doing it. It's like almost,
and you know what's in your drinks.
It's almost like wearing a flannel shirt and having a neatly manicured beard, but also chopping your own firewood. It's kind of the same thing.
Yeah. Also, the beauty of doing that is if you like what you come up with, you can tip yourself.
Yeah. So, Caden from Thousand Oaks, go tip yourself. Okay, so the next letter is from Roger in Tampa. I'm assuming that's Tampa, Florida.
Yeah, that's the only Tampa I know of.
Yeah. I don't know. Maybe there's one in like France or something. Because, there's like a Paris, Texas too, right?
Right.
Anyway, Roger from Tampa writes, "Hey, bros. I'm going to assume you didn't include the Beatles in your folk rock episode, because you have a full month of Beatles episodes planned covering their 4 creative phases: the early years, the pop stardom period, the music makers phase, and the soloists. If so, looking forward to those episodes. It would probably help you pick up more listeners if you covered more Beatles stuff. If you think they aren't modern enough for you or for your show, don't forget Now and Then, released in late 2023, and was the first AI-assisted track to be nominated for a Grammy Award, and the first to win. How neat is that? Rock on, Roger." Yeah, thanks for the suggestion, Roger.
Yeah, thanks, Roger.
First of all, let's talk about the giant silicon elephant in the room. Like, we like some electronic music, but like AI generated stuff, I don't know. It just, I don't know. Have you ever watched Rick and Morty?
No.
Okay. Well, there's the dad of the family is Jerry, is really inept. They're living in a simulation, and everybody figures out that they're living in a simulation except for Jerry. the aliens running the simulation have to like continuously divert more and more resources away from running the simulation until like all the other people in the simulation are just like 3-second clips of the same person over and over again, and they glitch out. And then he gets in his car to drive to work and turns on the radio, and the only station is playing human music.
Oh.
And it's just kind of these beeps and boops, like rhythmic beeps and boops. And he's like,
yeah,
human music. I like it. So when I think of AI generated stuff, that's what I think of. That it's just like, this isn't this is like slop, just sticking stuff in a blender and like squeezing the juices that come out. And then it's like, it can't create anything new. There's no nuance to it. You're just like filling in blanks. You're like using the frog DNA to fill in the missing parts of the dinosaur genome. Like, but in this case, it's unnatural. So it can't find a way.
Yeah, my taste runs that I like music for robots, but not music by robots.
I mean, that said, The Humans Are Dead is one of the greatest robot-generated songs of all time.
That's true. But those were like human robots.
What?
Yeah. But to the bigger point, aside from AI, because if we did cover Beatles, we wouldn't cover AI Beatles.
For sure.
But also, as we've talked about a few times, you know, we watch some of the things that are on the Disney Channel. And
true.
I got about halfway through the first 4-hour episode of whatever that Beatles thing that came out was.
Oh.
I'm still suffering Beatles fatigue because of it. So once that wears off, we'll see. They are on the list to cover, but it'll probably be a single episode, not a full month. Mainly because there's no months that start with the letter B. So
what about
just
Bumuary?
Yeah, there's got to be some Beatles related day, I guess.
Probably.
We'll get back to you on that. Thanks, Roger.
Yeah. My thing with the Beatles is like I like some of their stuff, but once I realized like as a child that it was like one of my earliest musical memories that wasn't Puff the Magic Dragon was realizing that everything American wasn't Elvis Presley, wasn't necessarily Elvis Presley, and everything British wasn't necessarily the Beatles. That it was like,
yeah.
Oh, wait, there's this other band called the Kinks, and they're way better.
So, sometimes we hit the high points, but most of the time we're kind of like a forgotten, buried, or B-sides kind of.
True. Yeah, we like to dig a little bit.
That's the stuff we seek out. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And, you know, I'm not slighting the Beatles at all, but because I do like the Beatles, but I've had enough conversations with rabid Beatles fans where they started to get a bit frothy. And it was like, it reminded me too much of when I was a rabid Rush fan. And it's like, okay, well, yeah, you know, there are other bands that kick ass and write intelligent lyrics. Yeah. So it's like, if you can decouple that and just like listen to the Beatles with fresh ears without all, you know, the decades of baggage, I'm all for it.
Mm-hmm. I'm thinking there probably is a lot of podcasts that already cover the Beatles, I would think.
Probably.
Like every episode is just Beatles all the time. So
that's a possibility.
Yeah, maybe do a Google search on that.
Right.
And also,
in the meantime.
And I guess probably the same could be said for Mumford and Sons. Like, we're not the experts to cover those things.
Right.
There's probably people that are way more knowledgeable than us on both those bands that would be more enjoyable for you to listen to than to hear us muddle through it with our uninformed opinions.
Right. Yeah. You know, we're trying to introduce you to stuff that maybe you haven't heard.
Off the beaten path.
Yeah. So it's like, if you're already super into Mumford and the Beatles, like what more convincing do you need, right?
Right.
We'd be happy to have you come on as a guest and we would hear you out, but only under, strict supervision and privacy. You'd have to come to the bunker and quarantine for several weeks.
Spend some time in the bunker and
rigorous
with only the available
physical
records and DVDs that are in the bunker.
Yeah.
To listen to. Yeah.
Submit to rigorous physical and mental evaluations.
Take part in feats of strength.
Yes. Eat this trencher of food as fast as you can.
Okay, we have one more letter. This is from Piano Man 49 at AOL writes, "So cool you guys had my life on the TV show themes episode. Did you also know not only did Mr. Joel compose the music for the movie Oliver and Company, but he voiced the lovable character Dodger in that film? With over 308 music credits on IMDb, you guys are just literally scratching the surface when it comes to his contributions to music and TV. Could have done without the wisecracks about Christy Brinkley marrying oafs with drinking problems regarding her character on Parks and Rec. Not only were we divorced over a decade before Parks and Rec first aired, but I haven't had a drink for a couple years now other than the occasional glass of wine with dinner. If I had one critique for the show, it's that you guys get way too granular and gatekeepery when it comes to picking your topics. Ska, metal, Woodstock, AOR, and folk rock. It's still rock and roll to me. Cheers, BJ in Oyster Bay."
His use
I don't know what to make of that one, but yeah, we apologize. The Christy Brinkley wisecracks were just for our own twisted sense of humor and
that's true.
For our audience's listening pleasure. And congratulations on curtailing your drinking. And
he says we like he uses the
that's what was confusing me.
Who was he divorced from?
Not only were we wait a minute,
including Christy Brinkley in that?
I think so. It's all part of the same paragraph. Huh.
Weird.
And to your critique about the show, we do admit that we get pretty granular and gatekeepery, but not because we're like super snobby about music.
Right.
Mostly just to keep we're trying to get the length of our shows down.
Right.
Like if we included everything we liked and like every cul-de-sac off of the main topic, our shows would be way too long. They're already too long.
Oh yeah.
But yeah, the reason we do that is just, for time restraints.
Right. And more on that point, like I really try to curtail any gatekeepiness. Like I'm all for like, oh, well, this is kind of this definition. Like if you like this stuff, here's other stuff that's similar. But it's like, music is for everybody. Like if you like it, you like it. And like, I really dislike the like name 3 bands thing. Like I couldn't dislike that more. Like that's such douchey behavior. So I try to avoid anything even close to that of the like, oh, you're wearing the t-shirt. Can you name 3 songs? Like that kind of thing. Not name 3 bands, name 3 songs.
Yeah.
And then like more to BJ's point.
Well, I guess in that way we aren't posers, because if we can't name 3 songs from a particular band,
right,
we're probably not going to include them on the show.
True.
So I guess like Caden's point that we are posers is maybe we aren't posers because of that.
Right. Maybe we're a unique kind of cool.
Food for thought.
But to BJ's point about like it's still rock and roll to me, like absolutely.
Oh, yeah, I'm a rock and roll fan. If it doesn't rock, I probably don't listen to it.
Yeah. Like, ironically, I'm saving a band called Tyr for, like, a pagan metal or just another heavy metal episode, rather than including them in the very specific definitions I have for folk metal, because they have some, like, they do a cover or a version of Wild Rover, because that song is like over 600 years old and nobody knows exactly how old it is, and it exists in Ireland and the Faroe Islands. But I see them more as pagan metal than folk metal. But then the Harry Johansson, the singer for that band, has also come out and said that, like, getting too granular about stuff, like his point, what he said was, labels divide people, they don't bring them together. And, like, I wholeheartedly agree with that.
Yeah, good music is good music.
Yeah, we're just trying to, like, I don't know, bunch stuff together like grapes, I guess, rather than like.
And it is kind of the it is kind of the landscape right now, you know, with the way music is put out and all the scenes and the way fans like things. It is very niche-y, you know.
Do you say niche or niche?
Niche.
Niche.
Nietzsche. I guess it's all three of those things.
Yeah. Friedrich Nietzsche.
So thanks for the feedback, BJ.
Yeah. Thanks for listening.
Whoever you are.
Yeah. Sorry to hear about your divorce.
I guess we could have included Oliver and Company in our cartoon or our movie themes.
Was that Cousin Oliver from the...
No, it's
Brady
the one
Bunch?
about, like, the dog and the cat. Like Oliver's like a little cat.
Oh.
Like a little tabby cat. I think it's like a Disney kids thing or something.
Okay. Cool.
It's like one of those, like, Fern Gully or Aristocats kind of things.
Oh, yeah. That reminds me of a joke. No, never mind. I won't tell it on air.
Okay. All right. So if you want to hear, if you have any critique for us or you want to hear your stuff read on the show, shoot us an email.
Absolutely.
All right.
Alrighty. This is probably my favorite band of all time and the first song that made me like an instant folk metal fan. So this is Haida Volk, Nehalania.
Yeah, that's good stuff.
Yeah, I should have warned the listeners up front that your beard will grow at least a centimeter listening to that song. So be warned.
Yeah. If you're allergic to testosterone, give you a warning right now at the top of the set list.
Yeah.
Oh, man.
But, you know, it's not testosterone-y like Manowar. Like, it's just like...
Right.
Just strong, tough guy. Like I remember I showed those guys to Dad, and he was like, "Okay."
I bet those guys could lift some stuff.
Yep. Because they've had a lot of changes in their lineup. So, like, pretty much the bass player is the only member that's still in the band from that original lineup. But those two original singers. There was the short-haired singer and the long-haired singer. And the long-haired singer is one of the biggest people I've ever met.
Oh, man.
It's like, I don't think he's not as big as the mountain Hafthor Bjornsson, but he's taller. Mm-hmm. Yeah. The first time I saw them, I was such a huge fan and, like, totally fanboying out. And, like, I saw an interview with them. And they're like, yeah, whenever we go on tour, like after the show, we like if there's a bar, we like to hang out at the bar because we love meeting our fans. And it's like, that's super cool. And so sure enough, like they were at the bar at the DNA Lounge after the first time I saw him. And that dude was sitting on a bar stool and I had to look up to like shake his hand to make eye contact with him. It was like, you guys were awesome.
Like a little kid.
Yeah.
Gee, mister. You guys are really great.
Yep. Yeah. Yeah, those guys rule. Yeah, so Nehelania is like they're from the Netherlands, and Nehelania is like one of the local gods. She was the god of the sea. So you would whenever you like went out on the sea for fishing or raiding or traveling to new lands.
Yeah.
Going forward over the sea, as the song says, you would make an offering to Nehelania for safe passage and safe return. So that's what was going on in the video.
Yeah, that I don't know what they were saying with that fist pump thing that they were doing.
Forward over the Cheyenne. Forward over the sea.
Okay. Yeah, it kind of reminded me a little bit of Dragon Sound with the Taekwondo.
A little bit.
It's a little bit like that.
Yeah.
But like a little more intimidating.
Right.
For some reason.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I can see that. And not only are these guys my favorite band, they also sing, I don't think they sing in the Achterhoek dialect, Achterhoeks, but they do sing in Dutch Low Saxon, which Achterhoeks is a variation of Dutch Low Saxon. And they do a cover.
Is there I was going to ask.
They do a cover of Normal's Vulgarisch Magistralisch, because when Heidevolk first was like starting out, Normal like kind of took him under their wing and like showed him the ropes, like showed him how to like survive out on the road. And like, you know, they were like brothers in promoting this like language that was getting muscled out by French and English. So
nice.
And like regular Dutch. So
yeah, also you've earned your first 100 points. There was nothing burning in that video.
Nothing burning in that video. Okay. So similar nautical theme. This is Heidevolk and Ingwas Zonen.
That's a cool one too.
Right? And is it not the most metal song that doesn't have electric guitar in it?
Yeah. Oh man. It's like just pounding drums.
Yeah, just drums and dudes singing and oars in the water.
Yeah, I wonder how they got those sound effects. They must have just gone out on a boat.
Probably. Yeah. Yeah, so it's, where does the journey lead, O sons of the north? Westwards over rough seas, on the way to new places. What do you seek over the rough sea, so far from your land? We search for the new ground, guided by the hand of the gods. Ingvaz's sons sail towards the horizon, and so on.
Yeah,
it's about sailing to new lands.
Yeah, I like these guys so far. You've played some of their stuff for me before, but
yeah,
and that's like stuff I would actually listen to.
Yeah, and I love the fact that like they do clean vocals. There's only a couple songs where they kind of do some harsh vocal stuff, but like only as like an accent. And then they had those two singers, and one of them left, and they got a new singer, and then the other original singer left, and they got another guy. So they have two new singers that weren't with them before. But that second song was the two new singers, and so they kept the two baritone singers, which like I mean that's their signature deal. Like it just sounds. Yeah, it just sounds so cool. And so it's like they've kept a consistent quality, which I appreciate.
Well, did they have the first guy and then they got another guy and they were like, we might need two guys to sing like the first guy?
No, they've always had two.
Oh, they've always had two guys. Oh, cool.
Yeah. It's their signature
Nice.
deal. And then another footnote about that song, like I've hung out with, okay, let me restate that. Another footnote about that song that may be of note. I notice a lot of younger people like don't understand, like they're more into like singles and like hearing individual songs as
opposed to the album experience.
Yeah, it's like a whole. So that song, you know, it's just the singers, the drums, and the oars, and then, you know, like singing stops, drums slowly fade out, oars and seagulls continue, and then the next song is just this blistering ripper, like this fast riff just comes in. It's like oh Britannia, nice. Like it's as heavy but like totally fast and just a blistering riff. So it has that contrast, which like is just chef kiss. So
nice.
Yeah, so that's High to Volk.
Also, nothing burning in that video.
Well, there's not really a video,
right? But I think rules are rules.
Okay, well, I think the next video may change the score significantly because you can't have a blacksmith's forge without fire. So
this is true.
So definitely my second favorite folk metal band, maybe my second favorite band ever. And I mean, that's saying a lot.
Yeah, there's a lot of bands.
Yeah. Rush, The Jam, Night Flight Orchestra, ABBA. So this is Korpiklani with Rauta.
Have you seen any of these bands like in their native countries at all?
No.
Oh, okay.
I wish.
Did you guys do any concerts while you were in Europe?
No, we were too busy.
Just checking out the history and stuff.
Yeah.
Oktoberfest.
Yeah, we did see some Oktoberfest bands. Although we didn't go, and I kind of regret not doing it, but you know, hindsight's always 20/20. It just seemed like a little too touristy, but we were considering going to one of those like super touristy, like dinner and a show fondue restaurants in Switzerland, where like, you know, they have singing and dancing and people in their native costume and the big Ricola.
Oh yeah,
horns.
I'm just wondering, like, I wonder what the crowds are like in their home countries compared to like when they come over here.
Well, it's hard to say because a lot of the live stuff from over in Europe is from like Wacken. They have a lot of like outdoor festivals in the summer, all over the place.
The long summer things.
Yeah. And then, so it's like heavy metal is like way bigger in Europe. And so it's like a lot of the concert footage I've seen from over there, like they're way bigger concerts. And so it's like,
yeah, that's what I was curious about.
Over here,
here they play in a club at night. There's a bunch of metalhead dudes like dressed in black.
Right.
Whereas like maybe over there, it's like families and stuff, like out sitting on a lawn or.
No, it's still a big old mosh pit. Bunch of people wearing black t-shirts, but.
Okay.
But yeah, the crowds are way bigger. But, you know, it's also like festival footage. So that could be biasing my opinion too.
Yeah.
But like I've had the luck of seeing Korpiklani twice, I think, at Slim's. Like I've seen them probably 10 times, but at least twice at Slim's, RIP Slim's, like tiny little place and this, you know, this huge band. So it's cool. So yeah, Rauta means iron in Finnish, and iske, that word they kept saying. This is like, it's a mosh pit song, but it's not a like fast mosh pit song. And then like everybody like fist in the air for the iske, iske, iske. Iske means strike. So it's like with every strike you get stronger because they're like, hammering the forging.
Yeah. So 0 points for that one.
Yep.
Speaking of fondue, the last few weeks I've been binge watching a bunch of Camping with Steve.
Nice.
That guy's big time into fondue.
Yeah. Did you saw the 70s camper one?
Yeah.
Yeah. I loved that video.
Oh man.
So good.
Pretty good.
The mustache and I love where he's like searching for something in that cupboard. And he just keeps pulling ashtrays out.
Yeah, ashtrays and like a Playboy and stuff.
It's like a dozen ashtrays in one cupboard, in addition to the ashtrays that are all over the
tuna helper.
Yeah.
Oh, man.
So good.
Tuna helper and fondue.
Oh, and another thing, Korpiklani means backwoods clan.
Oh, okay.
In Finnish.
Finnish hillbillies, basically.
Basically, yeah. So they have so many songs that I could have picked, and like they're going to get their own episode because, like, man, they have so many great songs. But so I want with one off of one of their later albums just to show some of their versatility. So this is Henkseli Poika.
Another good one.
Yep.
Okay, another 100 points.
So you want to do without looking double or nothing?
No. It's just got to run all the way through.
Because I was going to give you a chance to guess what Henkseli Poika means.
I have no idea.
So you may be familiar with the Finnish battle cry, Haka Pale Pojan Poika. Strike them down, sons of the north. So Poika means son or boy.
Okay, so what's the whole title?
Henkseli Poika. Suspender boy.
Oh, nice. Suspender boy.
Yeah. Has the maid ever looked at this suspender boy?
Yeah, I like that big masonry stove in there.
Yeah,
I totally want to build one of those.
Yeah, that one's a little bit different than one of the Russian or also
like a
Finnish.
One.
Like they have those in Finland too, like those Russian style stoves. But yeah, that one was like a bigger
for like a hall or something.
But yeah, part of the reason I added a factor for selecting that song was seeing if you would notice that stove.
Yeah,
that
I did.
Hearth.
Of course.
Nice. Okay, so we're going to go across the border from Finland into Russia. And this is a band that I'm going to go see next month. This is Arcona with Yarillo.
Didn't we have Arcona on, was that our Mount Rushmore vocalists?
Oh, yeah, probably.
With her on there?
Yeah, Masha is one of the mightiest vocalists of all time.
Yeah.
Yeah, she's awesome. Yeah, and I remember being a teenager and what was that Fishbone album that like had the globe on the cover or like the map on the cover?
Oh, Give a Monkey a Brain.
Yeah.
And I'll swear he's the center of the universe.
Yeah.
Something like that.
And like that album had recently come out. I remember you saying that like there are bands that are heavier than Fishbone, but nobody is heavy like Fishbone.
Yeah.
So there are bands that have mosh pit songs, but there aren't bands that have mosh pit songs like Arcona. I didn't even include their signature mosh pit song. They're like tippy top of the mountain mosh pit song.
Oh man.
They have a song called Stenka no Stenku, which means round and round in Russian.
Oh, nice.
And it's like,
is that a Rat cover?
No.
Just kidding.
I think I've played that song for you before. Okay, so I showed you these guys last week, and you liked them. And they're another band that I really like. I had to make sure because double check, because Estonia, Lithuania, and Latvia are all Baltic states, and they can be confusing to outsiders. And one of the folk bands we had talked about 2 weeks ago was Lithuanian. So I wanted to make sure these guys are Estonian. So,
okay.
Folk metal band from Estonia. This is Metzatol with Theme.
That's cool how they like slip in and out of English a little bit, but now I'm kind of hungry.
There's no English in that.
Really?
No.
They weren't saying eat creme brulee?
No.
Are you sure?
Positive.
Pretty sure I heard them singing eat creme brulee.
Yeah, I think you're wrong.
Is that the band where it's the one guy that plays he's like the folk multi-instrumentalist?
Yeah.
Okay.
Do you want to know what theme means in Estonian?
Sure.
Yeah, I got to read the whole thing. It sounds like, yeah, it might be similar to the Cursed Be Iron, like from Finnish folklore. Like it's about like iron and weapons hurting people and stuff, and like how iron was supposed to be like helpful, but it got poisoned by a bee. Well, it was supposed to have been helped by a bee, but a hornet like overheard, and like before the bee could get back with like all the awesome stuff in the world, the hornet came back with like snake venom and frog spit and horrible stuff. And so iron is forever cursed to like kill people.
Oh, interesting.
So Veem means freak.
Oh, man.
And it's all about like the lyrics are about iron weapons hurting people and killing people and stuff. Interesting. But yeah, nothing about creme brulee. So sorry. Sorry to disappoint.
Yeah, they were singing about creme brulees. There probably would have been more fire in the video, and there was no fire in that video.
Yeah, one of those.
Man, you're racking it up.
One of those little propane torches.
Yeah.
For getting that crispy caramelized.
The little waiter guy. The dessert cart.
Okay, so next up is Metzatol with Vade Valbrust, which apparently means only bravery.
And they had some messed up cartoons.
Right.
In Estonia.
Watch over the giant swinging those wagon wheels around.
Yeah.
Take out your whole army.
There's no fire in there. No, not even cartoon fire.
Nope.
Man, racking it up.
Do I win a prize or something at the end?
I don't know. Maybe.
Yeah. I just love how like simple but heavy all their songs are. Like they're just, everything's kind of down
they're pretty to the point.
Yeah. And just like they're pretty beefy.
Yeah, and they fit the stuff in too. Like it's kind of throughout the song.
Mm-hmm.
Like the folk instruments.
Right.
Like it's not like, okay, now here's the folk part of the song.
Right.
And now we're going back to the metal part of the song.
Yeah, it's not an interlude.
They bake it in really well.
Yep. Yeah, I've always liked those guys. They're not my favorite, but they're pretty good. I saw those guys open for Arcona at the chapel. It was a cool show. And two footnotes going back to stuff already played. When Arcona played at that show, there was like this tiny woman. She had to be like, if she was 5 feet tall, she was no more than 5 feet tall. She could have been shorter than 5 foot, significantly shorter than Erica, and Erica was 5'3", and had like a little pixie cut, like slight little petite woman. Could have played Puck or Tinkerbell or whatever in like whatever repertory theater production you chose. Just like this little tiny forest, little elf. And she got so into like, I don't know if she was on something or what, but she got like so into Arcona's set that she got naked or sky clad. If you're a heathen folk metaler, she sky clad herself, and it was like, whoa. Like suddenly, like the smallest person here is the most badass.
Oh man,
it was like, hell yeah.
She had some Amanita before the show,
maybe, but yeah, it was like, man, I'm gonna keep my pants on like a wimp.
Oh man,
I'm not cool enough. So the other thing, when I was adding stuff to the playlist the other night, that Korpiklani song Rauta, about like beating iron to make it stronger. One of the comments on that video was, "This is the song Nokia played when they made the 3310." The like legendary Nokia brick phone that's just indestructible.
Oh.
Like they brought it back because like people wanted a bomb-proof phone for like, not a smartphone, something that's not going to break, something that's just
that'd be nice.
You turn it on and use it as a phone, and it's always going to turn on. So I thought that was hilarious. Like iron phone. Okay, so we're going to jump back across the Baltic Sea for this next band, back to Finland. This is possibly my third favorite band of all time. This is Turasas, the March of the Varangian Guard.
You've seen these guys, right?
Only once.
Only once.
Their last album.
How do they pull off all that like orchestral kind of stuff?
It's usually like a backing track.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, because they do like concept album kind of stuff, and like
it's very cinematic and
they're
thematic.
Like they have more power metal than a lot of other folk and pagan metal bands.
Yeah.
One of the things I used to joke about is that I've heard people say that like if Beethoven was still alive, he'd be in Metallica, and if Mozart was still alive, he'd be in Iron Maiden.
Maybe.
Yeah, maybe.
Probably not.
My joke was,
let's say both played piano, and neither one of those bands have piano in them.
I guess. I used to joke that if Andrew Lloyd Webber was still alive, he'd be in Turasas.
Right, and the joke is that Andrew Lloyd Webber is still alive. Nice.
It's like they're totally like operatic musical concept stuff. Like they have one song that I almost added to the list called "The End of an Empire" because it's part of the concept album about the Varangian Guard going to Constantinople and fighting for the Byzantine emperors and stuff. Because like, it's like the Eastern Roman Empire, like after the Western Roman Empire fell, like the Eastern Roman Empire kept going, and they had more Greek influence because they were closer to Greece than Rome. And then like there was a lot more like court intrigue and like shifting alliances and stuff. And so
politics.
Yeah, a lot more politics. And so like the emperors couldn't really trust like Byzantine soldiers to be their bodyguard. So they started hiring these Rus and other like Western European mercenaries because they were more trustworthy. That it's like, well, as long as I pay them, they'll fight for me. And then, they're like head and shoulders taller and bigger than everybody here. And they're big.
And that's the Varangian Guard.
Yeah.
So I think you mentioned it before this, but where are they from again? Where's Turasas from?
Finland.
Finland, okay. And
take a drink.
Do you like these guys for the music or the historical content or
yes,
for the themes?
yes, all of it.
Okay.
And
that's what I figured.
They have a bunch of really cool songs too. The songs of theirs that aren't concept historical nerd songs. Like they have a song called 10 More Miles. And I almost added that, but I've made you watch that video at least twice. And the video has nothing to do with the song, but it's totally hilarious. The lyrics of the song are super cool because they're all about like, you know, it's not too late to change the road you're on. Like you can start being a better person. You can start like, you know, don't give up. It's not too late to, you know, to change. Like it became this like code word that we would use. Like if we got in a grocery line and like the other line was like move, like we'd look over and like, oh, that one's moving a little further. Like, do we stay here or do we switch? And so we would just say 10 more miles. Like, okay, let's switch the line. Or like, you know, if something, you know, wasn't just grocery store stuff, you know, it was just like any time where it was like, hey, look, none of this is written in stone. Like it's not too late to change gear and figure something else out. The lyrics are super cool and super inspiring. Like, you know, the old dog will learn as many tricks as his false pride permits. Like the captain went down with the ship. Like the fool. Yeah, like part of the chorus is when you've run aground, when on the rocks, when water's flooding in, how to turn your luck. Stop crying in your beer, out with the bales. Soon you'll be on course again with wind in the sails.
Nice.
Like it was much too late to start at her age. How could she ever compete with the best? There's always someone with a head start on you, but there is no pro league of life. Persistence is noble, said the captain while going down. Went down with a ship, that old fool. Lack of courage to turn around. But it's like, yeah,
interesting.
Sometimes it's braver to like change your course and not be headstrong.
Yeah.
Like, you know, Captain Ahab is a cautionary tale.
What is it? Adapt, improvise, and overcome.
Exactly. But, you know, like more, but in even more Taoist kind of way. That like, not just like keep hacking at the problem. Like,
right.
Okay, this isn't working.
Sometimes you step away from the problem.
Yeah, exactly.
Find a different problem.
Mm-hmm. And keeping with the heathen theme, as the All-Father told us, the living man gets the cow.
Ooh.
That's like sometimes the smart thing to do is like, yeah, maybe I'll wait and see if Farmer Dickhead dies, and then I can get his cow.
So if one were to go about making a tourist sauce, would you start with a roux or with drippings from some sort of cooked beast?
Yeah, probably drippings from a cooked beast. Yeah, like a brown gravy, deglazed from the pan with like mead, probably. So again, they have so many awesome songs, but I had to include this next song in this particular video for several reasons. Because it's a live video, the sound quality is decent enough, but you really need to see the stage presence of this band. They're like no other. And then this is when Netta Skog was still in the band playing accordion, and she's awesome. And then yeah, this also has like the lyrics in it, so you can see how their lyrics are like a little bit different than most heavy metal bands. So this is from another kind of a prequel concept album or concept LP or EP, I guess, like partnering with the Varangian Guard stuff. This is the To Home Guard and Beyond was the name of the EP. And it was about the journey from the Baltic down the Dnieper River, like through Ukraine down to portaging from the Dnieper to the Don. But there are waterfalls that you need to portage around on the Dnieper. That's what it is.
Dnieper is also another one of the Russian motorcycle companies that ripped off the BMW sidecar design.
They named their motorcycle companies after natural features.
Mm-hmm.
It's the other one's the Ural.
Ural, Dnieper.
Yeah, so this is about dragging a long ship around a waterfall.
Oh, man.
So this is portage to the unknown.
Yeah, they put on a show, don't they?
Right. So hang on a second. I had to get my sign of Perun. He's like
Man, I'm totally striking out on this fire deal.
We're only halfway through.
It looks like they have mostly like a Eurasian beaver pelts. This one,
maybe,
kind of stitched together.
Perun is kind of the Slavic equivalent to Thor. The big, strong dude, but he used an axe instead of a hammer.
So is this song more reminiscent to you of Bowron Lakes or that Werner Herzog movie?
A little of both, but then, like, not to be all maudlin, but if you're going through some heavy crap in your life and you need, like, inspiration, Turasauce is a good band to listen to because, like, they're heavy, they're theatrical.
They're always about pushing on.
Yeah, and, like, they're inspiring and, like, positive. And so, like, that Give Me All You Have, Pull As Hard As You Can has, like, gotten me through some pretty tough times in my life. And and then it's like the metaphor of, like, okay, we could go over the falls and wreck our boat and drown, or we can, like, drag this boat and it may seem tough, but, like, we get to the other side and, like, we'll be back in the water.
Yeah, just slowly, like a bite at a time, tackle the insurmountable.
Yeah, foot by foot we edge. Once a ship, now a sledge.
Yeah.
So dope.
Nice.
And then it's like, how many other heavy metal songs do you know that have, like, Pythagorean principles in it? Like the 6 regular triangles, 6 vertices.
Teach you math.
Mm-hmm. Like, you're using leverage and winching stuff. Yeah, Plato's Earth made transparent.
Levers.
Yeah, pretty dope. Okay, so I mean, that was an older video, and it was filmed on a potato.
That wasn't that bad.
Yeah, it wasn't that clear either. I mean, it could be argued that Netta Skog is the cutest person in folk metal, but she's not a member of Turasauce anymore. She did fill in this next band for a while, but she hasn't been in a folk metal band for 10 years or so. The title of cutest person in a folk metal band goes to Sammy Hinka, the bass player from this next band.
Oh, man.
His Instagram, like, if you're on Instagram at all, follow Sammy Hinka. He is the coolest dude. They're on tour right now. They're going to be in the US in like 2 months or the end of next month, I think. They're on tour in Europe right now. And so every day, like, he goes on walks, like, on their downtime and like during the day, like, he just walks around wherever, like, the nearest woods or river or open space, wherever they're on tour. So he has this series of like selfies of him hiding merch somewhere. You can kind of tell, like, okay, there's some clues. Like it's just him, and then like tucking like a t-shirt in a bag somewhere. And so he goes around and hides merch, like the folk metal
little geocaching,
kind of like thing. Some sort of folk metal Saint Nicholas or something.
Nice,
yeah. So this is Ensiferum with "In My Sword I Trust."
Yeah, it's kind of more. I don't know if it would just be more pagan metal, but like they were kind of missing the folk element a little bit.
Yeah, a little bit. It's kind of a cheat because they have a keyboard player, but yeah, they're definitely more pagan metal, like you said. But
yeah, I kind of like that a little bit better. But yeah, it was a cool song.
Yeah, those guys rule.
I subscribed to this lady on YouTube, Kirsten Dirksen.
Okay.
And she like travels all around the world, like checking out like different ways of living and like sustainable architecture kind of stuff. Mm-hmm. In the last few months, she's done a bunch of stuff up in Scandinavia, and she went to like this kind of old Viking village where they're like rebuilding ships. And it's a little touristy, but it's like one of those like living museum kind of things. Yeah, but you could tell like all the guys that work there are like probably totally into this kind of music,
Probably. Yeah. I'm pretty sure Ludwig listens to these guys.
Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised.
I think I've talked to him about Ensiferum. Yeah.
He's probably not listening to him now.
But... No, but yeah.
Yeah.
Turasauce does a cover of that Boney M song, Rasputin. Rah, rah, Rasputin, lover of the Russian queen. And it's like, there's this weird connection with like Finnish folk and pagan metal and disco. And so, all right, I bet this Summer Breeze one is good. Looks like a pro shot one. Yeah, so 2 of spades.
Oh, man. I had no idea heavy metal dancing girls were a thing.
They're usually not, but
Yeah.
The Finnish flag bra was pretty cool.
Oh, man.
I'm here for it. I see a lot of these bands play at venues like that. Like, yeah, it's a big open air festival, so of course it's going to be huge. But it's like, maybe they're playing at regular venues or smaller venues most of the time. So, second one from Ensiferum is One Man Army. This is, well, I don't know. In My Sword I Trust might be their like number one song, but One Man Army is definitely up there as like their flagship song.
Man, that's slamming.
Yeah. Yeah, it's like borderline thrash metal.
Yeah, drummer was tearing it up.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, they've got a rad drummer.
I was watching the beginning of that video and I was like, oh, it's all kind of underexposed. It's kind of hard to see the guys. And you know what would really help to see them better is if there was more fire.
Yep. 0 points on that one.
Did not disappoint.
0 points. Yeah, so do you have one of those perforated cymbals for making that like blacksmithing sound?
No.
Get on it.
That's probably just like a bell chime or something.
He was doing it in My Sword I Trust. Maybe it wasn't specifically that cymbal.
Yeah, it wouldn't be that one. Those are called trash cymbals.
Mm-hmm.
They have like a really harsh kind of like white noise kind of sound.
Cool.
To have that hammer on an anvil thing, you'd want like a big thick bell.
Okay. Yeah, the guy's in The Sword. The drummer for The Sword does that too.
Oh, yeah.
There's a lot of heavy metal songs that involve blacksmithing and making that ting, ting, ting sound.
Yeah. A lot of times when guys go to double bass too, they'll do a China crash instead of like a ride cymbal or a regular cymbal.
Okay.
Which is like kind of more of that white noise, but it's got kind of a pang to it too.
Okay.
So it's like pangy, crashy. Yeah, I need a bell and I need some of those trash cymbals. I don't have anything like that. I do have a China though that I use, and I have a gong.
I know you have a gong. There's like that very Bavarian Oktoberfesty song. I forget the name of it, but it has like the hammering in it, and it's the kind of song that would drive mom nuts.
Oh yeah,
so it's just like this ting 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 over and over again. Yeah. I've seen them do it on stage using an actual hammer, like actual hammers on an anvil. But I think when they record it, it's like the two little like clay or like ceramic rods, and they like plink them together.
Like a clave.
That's another way to get that sound. All right. So we're going to leave the frosty forests of Finland for the soggy shores of Scotland for the next band.
Oh, I remembered that band I was talking about that plays. They're more Celtic than anything else, but it was Tempest.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, those guys have been doing it forever.
Yeah, I brought up the Naked Lady at the Arcona show. The very first, like, unarguable pioneers of folk metal was Skyclad back in the 80s. So,
yeah,
most of these bands started in the 90s or 2000s. More than 10 years before anybody else. Skyclad was doing Celtic folk metal. All right. So, yeah, to the soggy shores of Scotland. This is Ailstorm and Shipwrecked.
Yeah, it's fun.
Yeah. Hailstorm. It's
not to be
so
confused with Hailstorm with an H.
No. Completely different band.
Yeah. You know, there's part of me that thinks getting shipwrecked wouldn't be such a bad thing.
Depends on where.
Yeah, and like if I had like a little like waterproof tin of antibiotics or something.
Right. Yeah. It's like if you had enough fresh water and goats and coconuts and saucy wenches.
Could make do.
Yeah.
Maybe a diving mask to go spearfishing or something.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. I think I could make do. Like when I was a kid, like Robinson Crusoe and stuff like that, or
totally
Swiss Family Robinson was always like, oh man, that'd be so cool.
Yeah. So 3 things and all kind of connect with a thread. So first of all, 0 points. There was a torch and the flaming poi balls. And then did you ever hear the story about, I think it was like 6 or 8 like teenagers from Fiji, and they stole some old fisherman's boat and rigged up a sail and sailed to like an uninhabited island, and they lived there for like 9 months or a year or something, like a really long time. They did it because they thought it would be fun, and like their parents didn't know where they were.
Oh man, nobody even left a note.
I don't know. I don't remember all of the details, but like I think somebody broke their leg or something and like started like to get a fever or something. So they like flagged down a ship. Yeah, there was some reason. And like,
yeah, I hadn't heard that one.
Yeah, it's like a pretty cool story because they were just like, they were totally okay until like somebody got seriously injured. And
right,
they became kind of national heroes, but they had to like, you know, they thought they were going to get in trouble, but like people were just like, their families were stoked they were still alive. And then like everybody thought it was totally awesome what they did. And Like the only punishment was they had to pay the old guy for his boat.
Yeah, I love all those like Castaway kind of stories,
right?
like novels and stuff. Don't care for the Castaway movie though.
Why not?
I think you know the reason why.
You don't like volleyball?
No, that's not it.
You thought the like FedEx product placement was like a little too in your face?
A little too shilly.
Yeah.
Well, no, I don't know, because that plane did go down.
That's true.
It's not a good look. No, it's the Tom Hanks thing,
I know.
as usual. Okay.
Back on track.
Jumping back into this playlist.
Okay. So this next one is Ailstorm again with Barrett's Privateers.
Oh, man. Those guys totally have a corner on that market.
Yeah. The whole genre of pirate metal was started by Running Wild back in the 80s. But
well, these guys do it really well.
Yeah. Yeah, and Barrett's Privateers is like a traditional shanty. So
is that fire on that album cover? I can't really tell.
It's Cannon Fire.
Okay. I'm gonna count that.
Yeah, they didn't have a video for this one. The title song on that album is
Back Through Time.
Back Through Time. They go through a time warp, and like the song starts out with like, "Arr, Captain, there be Vikings off the starboard bow."
Oh, man.
So it's like pirates versus Vikings.
Oh, man.
It's pretty hilarious. Like, I almost put that one on, but
I'll have to check it out.
The chorus is pretty awesome. It's you put your faith in Odin and Thor. We put ours in cannons and whores.
Oh, man.
It's pretty funny. Anyway, yeah, that's Ailstorm. Yeah, they do a lot of really weird stuff too. Like usually, like if bands do like alternate tracks, I'm into it. Like the album that Corporal Kalani song Rauta is on, you can get it as a double album where they do all the songs in Finnish and then they do all the songs again in English. And
oh yeah.
And so like Ailstorm does stuff like that sometimes. Like they had one where they did like an acoustic version of like the whole album, and that was really cool. And then they did one that was the whole album, and then like the whole album in like 16-bit like Nintendo keyboard kind of sound effects.
Oh man.
And it was like,
oh man.
It was good for one song, and then it was like just wore way too thin. And then the next album they did a version that was all the whole album, and then like bonus album that was all just samples of dog barking, like on a sampling keyboard.
Why?
I don't know.
Oh man,
those guys are funny, but sometimes they sail a joke until the sails are in tatters.
Oh boy, till the albatross.
Yeah. So that was Ailstorm. Eastward a little bit, back to Russia. To a little band called Troll Ben's Fur, and this is Ass Shaking Dance.
Loosely translated.
Okay, so we're staying in Russia. So the second song from Troll Ben's Fur, and that's FIR, the tree, not the FUR.
Oh, that totally makes sense now.
Yeah, no pelts on this one.
So it's a troll like bending a tree.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, like peeking through the fir trees.
Also behavior that Bigfoot takes part in.
That's true.
Snapping branches, bending treetops.
Yeah, because
if Bigfoot is our neighbor, he's a pretty good neighbor. I would prefer to have Bigfoot than trolls running around.
It depends on the trolls.
Yeah, trolls are like people, I guess.
Yeah.
There's the good and there's the bad.
It's true. I mean, they're mostly bad. Well, they're not mostly bad. Like, that's such a absolute term.
Sounds a little speciesist to me.
Yeah. Yeah, trolls are just like when trolls get rowdy and loudish and whatever, like normal humans.
It's like when the jocks show up to your party. Somebody's going to put their elbow through some drywall, or
that's
coffee table is probably going to get busted. Or,
that's part of it. It's also kind of like the bully breed thing, where like you're more likely to get bit by like a golden retriever or a chihuahua, but like because pit bull breeds have like the bigger, stronger jaws, like the bite's going to be more severe. So like the consequences from troll bad behavior is greater because they're just
FAFO.
Yes, exactly. Anyway, this is Hoompa is My Neighbor featuring Jani Järvelä from Korpiklaani. Secret triple feature.
Nice.
Yeah, pretty silly song, but
yeah,
it's fun.
I have a couple questions for you.
Sure.
Okay. First one, do you still have a panache for mooning people? In your younger days, I don't know if you were like known for it, but it was surprising when it happened, but it happened on frequent occasion.
I wouldn't say I had like a proclivity for it.
Mm-hmm.
More just, it's something to always.
It's a classic.
It's a classic. And then it's always, it's always a handy, tool to have in your drawer when you need it.
Or out of your drawers.
Exactly. And my the mooning that I'm the most proud of, like, wasn't actually I was the sun that provided the light to reflect off a moon. I went over to a friend's house who had been away at college for months, hadn't seen each other for like 6 months or so. And he called a bunch of us up and was like, dude, I'm in town. Like, come on over. Let's hang out. And I was like, sweet. And it was like, we're going to watch Predator. Like, awesome. I'm in. Let's do this. And so a bunch of us went out there. And the friend also called his girlfriend, who he hadn't seen in 6 or 9 months or whatever. And so there's a bunch of us dudes sitting at somebody else's house waiting around to watch Predator. And the friend whose house it was, like, out on the back deck talking to his girlfriend, possibly making out. I don't know. I'm not a creeper. So it was like, oh, okay, are we going to watch Predator or not? Like, what are we doing? We're, as the Aussies so politely put it, are we here to F spiders? So friend's dad had a boat. And when you have a boat, one of the requirements is having a great big spotlight. So it's like, 5 million candle power or whatever. Maybe not that big. But, super bright boating spotlight, like handheld spotlight. And I was like, I've got an idea. And so I went around the outside of the house and army crawled along the back of the deck to the other side. And Ryan pressed his cheeks up against against the French doors that were right outside the deck. And so it was perfect comedy timing of like them smooching out on the back deck, noticing somebody army crawling up, and like, what's going on? Giant, super bright flashlight on pasty white butt cheeks against the window.
Oh man.
Yeah. That was my proudest mooning event
Occurrence.
So
yeah, I thought you were going to talk about, because you kind of earned it, like when you finally got more fit than I was and you could like stay ahead of me on mountain bike climbs.
Mm-hmm.
You would go past me with your shorts pulled down and there's nothing I could do about it other than try and get in front of you. And you would just like toy with me with that because you're like super fit and young at the time.
Oh, that wasn't on purpose. That was just because like the elastic wore out.
Yeah, okay.
The spandex.
Yeah, those shorts seemed fine on the rest of the ride.
What are you talking about?
Just a wardrobe malfunction?
Yeah. That's
okay.
all.
Completely non-intentional.
Yeah, I mean, like, those stretchy bike shorts don't have belt loops. Like, what do you want me to do?
Yeah, you kind of need suspenders with them, I guess.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, question
what
2.
Was the Hank Sally Boyka?
Oh, yeah, Suspender Boy.
Suspender Boy. Suspender Boy never has a problem with accidental moonings.
That's true. Yeah. At that point, they're completely deliberate.
That's true.
Okay, question 2.
Yes.
So, Humfa is my neighbor.
Mm-hmm.
And also, I talked earlier in the show about how I've been binge watching Camping with Steve.
Mm-hmm.
And he had his crazy neighbor.
Yeah.
That he used to camp with.
R.I.P. crazy neighbor.
Yeah. Have you ever had any, like, kind of semi-crazy neighbors?
I mean, the bar was set pretty high growing up.
Did we have crazy neighbors?
Yeah. Charlie Brown.
Yeah.
I mean, it wasn't crazy, but I remember like pulling weeds out in the front yard one time, and he was like doing yard work in their front yard, and we were just like kind of talking back and forth, and he kept asking, like, we were just like shooting the breeze, and every once in a while he'd be like, "Did you hear that?" I'd be like, "No." He's like, "Yeah, I don't know. I thought I heard a duck quacking." And we'd shoot the breeze a little more, and he'd like, "Did you hear that?" Like, sounded like I swear I heard a duck quack. And you're like, "No, I didn't hear anything." And then like a few minutes later, I was like, "I heard a duck quack," or like, yeah. Charlie was like, "Yeah, maybe I'm going crazy," and then like a few minutes later, I heard a duck quack, and I was like, "Hey, Charlie, maybe I'm crazy too, because I just heard a duck quack." And he was like, "Well, that might be, but I still think I heard a duck."
Huh?
Exactly.
Yeah. Oh man. Yeah, Charlie was a little crazy.
Yeah, not crazy, but yeah,
maybe
and
a little
like,
crazy.
I've always kind of made it a point to be the crazy neighbor. So,
yeah. Yeah, I had a neighbor up in Payne Creek, this guy, Joe.
Mm-hmm. He's
like this ex-Marine mercenary kind of dude.
Whoa.
Pretty crazy, but like, I remember one time, I don't know, he was super nice, and he was like one of those guys that was like a really good neighbor, but like a little bit unhinged. And then we had another neighbor next to us who was also like a kind of PTSD kind of veteran guy.
Right.
And man, they would get together and it would just be like this downward spiral. Like,
oh man.
I remember sitting out in like folding chairs with them, like listening to their stories. I was like, oh, good grief. I can't take this.
Oh man.
But one time he had a horse, and one time it was like raining and stuff. And he was like trying to train this horse to ride it. And it was kind of a wild horse too.
Whoa.
But so he's like going full like rodeo, like with this horse up and down our street, and it was raining, and he didn't have a shirt on.
Whoa.
And he's just like totally like stiff and like doing the full-on rodeo thing, and like going up and down the street yelling "No fear."
All right.
Yeah.
I mean, that definitely qualifies. That's not just sticking a decal on the back of your...
Yeah. Yeah, it was kind of like the Wild West up there. But it was interesting because like we were way out there, middle of nowhere. And it was kind of crazy and Wild Westy, but like I never felt like there was a need to like call the police or anything like that. And then after that, we moved back down into town, and I had to call the police all the time. Like just, people spray painting stuff on our front walk thing, or drunk drivers running into their neighbor's car.
Oh, yeah.
Or just tweakers going down the street and like fighting with each other. And yeah, it's like all the time is like, felt a lot safer with all these crazy people up in the woods.
Yeah, it's also a smaller sample size too.
Yeah. But anyways, yeah, I was just wondering about neighbors.
Really, that's your takeaway? Not Hoompa?
It's a little bit of both.
Okay.
Yeah.
Because, Hoompa is like that kind of...
Yeah, the papa kind of thing.
Yeah, it's the same root word.
Hoompa. It's like the Skav has their version of pick it up kind of thing. But it's hoompa. Yeah, like if your bass instrument is something that needs to be blown into to do the bass line, it's a different cadence than like...
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's sousaphone.
Yep.
Yeah, and I was going to bring it up.
Function follows the form.
Exactly. I was going to bring it up with the previous song, the ass shaking dance. Because that one has a hurdy-gurdy in it.
Isn't that weird that wasn't the song that I asked you about mooning?
I think it primed the pump.
Maybe.
Well, and then Hoompa is My Neighbor does feature a mooning in it in the video.
Yeah.
So. But yeah, the hurdy-gurdy, there's some, like, nobody know. Well, I mean, it's kind of, I don't know. Basically, the best translation for the term hurdy-gurdy is the ass shaker.
Oh, okay. Oh, and he was playing a hurdy-gurdy in that. Yeah. Okay, makes sense now.
Yeah.
The more you know.
Yeah, because like the hurdy-gurdy is kind of like a one-man band kind of instrument. Like it has the drone, like you can key in a melody with the little fingerboard thing. And then
yeah, it's kind of,
it also has like I forget what it's called, but it has like a little thing that is like on a cam kind of, that like if you like turn the crank and that like draws the little wheel thing under the strings and creates the drone, but then it also has like a little thing that like thumps up and down onto the like resonating,
like rhythmically.
Yeah. And so it's like it keeps its own rhythm. Like you just turn the crank and then like you can kind of play a melody using the little fingerboard thing. So
it's kind of similar in a way to all the voices, different timbre, but kind of similar in the way to all the voices of accordion, because you have kind of your according, you have your melody that you can play, and then the rhythm is provided by drawing the bellows in and out. Yeah, if you were a master of all those, you would have those cadences down and the...
Alrighty. Anything else about Troll Ben's fur?
No.
Before we go over the...
No, I think that about covers it.
Before we go over the Carpathian Mountains.
Ooh.
Dude, Transylvania. So this next band is a band that you've heard before. Listeners might not have. So from Hungary, which if you're a linguist nerd, you know that Finland and Hungary, although their languages are separate, they are part of the same language family, the Finno-Ugric family. So this is Dalriada with Adudas.
Huh. That was an interesting one.
Yeah. So I never knew because, like, you know, growing up with our dad that competed in the Highland Games, I only ever associated bagpipes with Scotland and marching bands.
Yeah.
But apparently...
they're from everywhere.
They're from everywhere. And especially in Eastern Europe and Central and Eastern Europe, bagpipes are associated with, like, they were the, like, oh, that's what the satyrs play, like, or bagpipes. Like, you know, they're literally made out of goats, like,
right.
Like, they're like randy, like horny.
Yeah, that's why there's 4 drones basically.
Yeah, and you know, it's like what wanton, horny people listen to bagpipe music.
Oh man,
it's like, I mean, you're not wrong. Part of what I love about Dalriada is like their choruses, like the whole band singing on the chorus and stuff, and I don't know, like it just sounds cool the way they do it. But so the chorus of that is any who wants to be a piper, this is the translation, any who wants to be a piper has to go down in the fire. That's where he should learn to do it, how to use it, how to blow it, where the piper blows and blows the pain of the world in his notes.
Yeah, man.
But yeah, I just kind of like their sing-songy choruses.
Oh, and yeah, there was plenty of fire in that video.
Oh yeah, there was literally a flaming bull.
Yeah.
Because that's part of the song. Like Adudas translates to the piper. And it's like the bull of the sky, chain destroyer, wakes up at night till dawn takes over. Like Taurus rising in the sky.
Yeah.
It's pretty cool.
I think the first rock or hard rock song with bagpipes was 1974's It's a Long Way to the Top.
Quite possible.
With, yeah.
Akadaka.
Bon Scott playing. He's a total piper.
Totally.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's such a great song.
Yeah.
And, you know, we talked about rabid fan bases before. I know you're an AC/DC fan.
Yeah.
Do you refer to them as AC/DC or Akadaka?
AC/DC. Yeah.
Maybe we are posers.
Maybe. I was wearing my AC/DC sweatshirt last night.
Yep.
I only took it off because I had to bring some plants in out of the rain. So it's drying.
It all grody.
So it just got wet because it was raining.
Alrighty. So the next one is one I've played for you before. Excuse me. This is Dalriada with Moldvageddon. I had to take 2 tries.
Yeah, I like that one. Pretty good. Have you ever heard that Bobby Bear song, Marie Laveau?
No. I know about Marie Laveau, though.
Yeah.
Oh, come on.
We'll have to check that out after the show. It's like cheesy, like, what's the word? Novelty country. But yeah, that song reminded me of that a little bit with that screech that's in there.
Right.
I don't know what any of the words they were singing were. I'm looking forward to these next guys. You're talking about them in the last episode.
Yeah. Yeah, you're going to like these guys. So, you know that Hungary is like the westernmost end of the Eurasian steppe.
Yeah.
In fact, it's not, that album was the Piper, Du Das, that both of those songs were on. But one of their other albums that I could look up, but I'm not going to bother, has Hungarian Horse Archer on it, on the cover.
Yeah.
So if we travel east on the Eurasian steppe, eventually you get to Mongolia, where our next band is from. So this
isn't Norca in the steppes also?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean it's basically just plains. Yeah, like all of Ukraine and large chunks of Russia and a bunch of the northern stands, Uzbekistan, Kazakhstan. So this is Tanger Cavalry and Warhorse, specifically the 2012 version.
That was cool.
Right?
I'm not a big fan of harsh vocals, but the throat singing was really cool.
Mm-hmm.
I like how they did like the totally distorted guitar harmonics along with the throat singing, because I mean, that's basically what throat singing is. It's like a harmonic that's created in your throat that you can like ride it up and down.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Cool. And the fiddle.
Yeah. The horsehead fiddle is so cool.
Did you ever read On the Trail of Genghis Khan?
Mm-mm.
That Tim Cope book?
Mm-mm.
Oh, dude. Really?
No.
Oh. I wonder if I still have it on my bookshelf. You should read it.
Okay.
It's really good. Yeah, he rides from Karakorum, which was like the ancient capital of Mongolia.
Mm-hmm.
He rides on horseback from there all the way to the Danube in Hungary.
Nice.
Yeah, like all the way through the Eurasian steppes.
Nice.
On horseback with a dog, with his pet dog.
Nice.
And he just camps out unless people take him in, which doesn't happen all the time.
Right. Yeah. And for large stretches of that, there aren't people.
Right. I think that's the book I was reading where he was going through parts of Russia in the winter, and he stayed with these two guys that were like security guards at a power plant or something. And they just lived in this little shack. And it got so cold there that they would like basically just have to keep drinking vodka so their blood wouldn't freeze.
Yeah, no, thank you.
Yeah, and I guess eventually he got word that those two guys that did eventually freeze to death.
Oh man.
So, but yeah, that book's it's pretty cool. On the Trail of Genghis Khan by Tim Cope.
Nice.
Highly recommended if you're into geography and the steppes and history and it's one of those good reads.
Yeah, and nobody knows where he was buried.
People think they know, but there's no proof of any of it. There's theories, there's monuments, but who knows what those mean.
Right. All right. So the next one is The Wolf Ritual by Tanger Cavalry.
That was pretty cool.
Yeah, I thought you might like that one.
As I was listening to that, I could picture that being at like the end of a movie when the credits are rolling. And that's one of those ones where it's like you stay in your seat. You don't like, oh, the movie's over, I'm leaving.
Right.
It's like if that music was on, you would just like stay there until it's like done.
Right. Or if you were like riding across the steppes and like the sound, like the overwhelming silence, like oppressed you, like it would like change into that, like that sound, just like the wind rustling through the grasses.
Yeah, I wonder how they did that. A lot of those drums sound sampled. Yeah, I wonder how they make these records? Because are they in a nomadic tent somewhere, like with a laptop, like recording this stuff? Or like, is there like some German metal dudes that are like, okay, we'll make like the bass layer, you guys come do the fiddle and the vocals over it? And
well, but this band had kind of several iterations, and the singer and horsehead fiddle player is no longer with us.
Oh, okay.
And he actually lived in New York City for quite a while, like pursuing his career
that first song, there was something on there that made me think, wait, how old is this?
Yeah,
I can't remember what keyed me into it, but it's like, oh wait, this isn't brand new.
Right. Well, it was because they did two different versions of.
Oh, because it
War
said
Horse.
remastered on the album cover of the last song.
Yeah.
Said remastered, and usually you don't remaster an album till like years and years later.
Right. Well, they also did a different version of Warhorse in 2016. So
also, that wolf skull
is on fire. I will give you that.
Did you ever see Genghis Blues?
No.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, that's another one. It's a documentary about Paul Pena, and I brought it over to watch with Mom and Dad. Maybe you were gone by then.
Maybe.
Well, it was on VHS, so yeah, it's a while back. I forget that like everything is not relevant as it is in my memory.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, Genghis Blues was Paul Pena, who was a singer-songwriter from San Francisco. And he's most famous for writing well, maybe not most famous anymore, but at the time he was most famous for writing Jet Airliner, the
nice.
Steve Miller song.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, he was the guy that wrote that. Good singer. His solo album is really cool. It's got all the San Francisco set on it. Jerry Garcia playing pedal steel and stuff. Some good stuff.
And Jet Airliner is one of the songs that like snuck. Well, they didn't even sneak. It's just like it goes by so fast and it fits so well in the song that like FM radio would have a swear word.
Oh, that's right. Okay, if you ever feel like you're totally on the ball and like kind of an overachiever and stuff?
I don't think I'm in danger of that ever. But
yeah, I'm not in danger of that either. But like,
hypothetically,
if you ever feel like you're not doing enough, or like that you have goals but you never kind of get around to them.
Mm-hmm.
So Paul Pena, he's blind for one, and the story goes that he was searching through. He had a bunch of radio equipment, and he was searching through. He's into languages and stuff, so he was dialing through on a shortwave radio to try and find a Korean language lesson.
Okay.
And he heard this sound that he had never heard before. And he was like, what the heck is that? And he just like sat there and listened to it. And it's like, it sounds like a weird radio interference, but that's a human voice.
Okay.
And so what he had come across was a broadcast of Tuvan throat singing.
Yep.
And he had no idea what it was, because it was just this thing like coming across the shortwave radio, like probably from Mongolia.
Nice.
And so it bugged him. Like, what is that? I need to learn to do that. I need to find out what the heck that is. 2, I need to learn how to do that.
Mm-hmm.
So like a little while after that, he heard someone talking about it on KPFA, and he was like, that's what it was, Tuvan throat singing.
Nice.
And so this is where if you feel like you would like to achieve more, let this be inspiration to you. So he's blind. He has like this optical scanner thing that will turn books into Braille.
Right.
So he wanted to learn how to speak Tuvan, but there's no Tuvan to English dictionaries.
Right.
So he took a English to Russian dictionary and a Russian to Tuvan dictionary.
Dang.
And scanned them through his optical scanner to Braille and taught himself to speak Tuvan.
Holy crap.
And then he learned how to Tuvan throat sing, or he probably did that concurrently or before even. He learned how to do it just by hearing it.
Mm-hmm.
And then he flew to Mongolia for the Tuvan throat singing championships.
Whoa.
And took part in it.
Whoa.
And people were blown away because it's like, this guy's from San Francisco and he's not Mongolian.
Right.
And he's here and he can do the thing.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah, it's that documentary of him, Genghis Blues, is him traveling, gives the whole backstory and him traveling to the Tuvan throat singing gathering or whatever it was.
I'll check that out. That sounds cool.
It's really cool. And it's like really feel good, you know, because like he gets disappointed and like feels like it's not going to work out, but then he gets there and it's like everything kind of does work out. And
nice.
Yeah. And he's an interesting character, you know, because he's has all the baggage and trappings of someone who never quite gotten where they deserve to be. And, you know, had this disability and worked really hard to continue learning and do things in spite of it.
Yeah, had additional roadblocks.
Right,
he had to overcome. That's awesome.
Yeah, so highly recommended. Genghis Blues, and also that On the Trail Genghis Khan book. It's really cool. If you want to get the vibe of the steppes.
Right. So if you take the Eurasian steppe all the way east,
one step further,
one step beyond. Oh my! What about like a throat singing horse head fiddle version of like doing Madness covers called One Step Beyond? Come on, that would be awesome.
Yeah.
Welcome to the House of Fun.
Third wave ska got everywhere. There's got to be an example of it.
Gotta be. So if you go even further east from China, you get to Taiwan.
Yeah.
And these guys they have some folk elements. They're a little more just kind of straight metal. Not really power metal-y, but I don't know. Yeah. Anyway, so from Taiwan, this is Thonic with Takeo. Yeah, I know I played that song for you before.
Man, this guy's rip.
Right? Yeah. So the only time I got to see Turasauce in concert is the same time I got to see Thonic in concert at the Fillmore with a bunch of totally awesome bands and Corpaclani. Thonic was like the third band out of 5. They ended their set with that song.
Oh, man.
And like my friend Mario and I looked at each other and we're just like, holy shit. Like, just totally blown away. Like, oh man. Like we knew these guys were badass, but like that song, dang.
Yeah. Like I'm not a big fan of harsh vocals, but like that's like well done and it's not overly done.
Yeah, and he's musical. Able to do like the two kind of different styles of harsh vocals, like the black metal goblin voice and the death metal yeti voice.
Goblins and yetis.
That's Brian Posehn's joke. Talking about 3 inches of blood. They got one guy that sings like a goblin and another guy that sings like a yeti. They got both kinds of singing.
Yeah, but he's not overdoing it though.
No, he's not overdoing it. And then it's like his yeti voice is like pretty legible too.
Yeah. Just not a bunch of throat sounds. Did you tell the story about these guys on the last episode? Or was
I think
that
we
after
talked
the
about
show
it
we were
off air.
talking?
That was after the show.
Okay. So you didn't tell the story about the merch table?
Oh, I can. Yeah. So the first two bands, one was Winter Hymn, who's from Cleveland, Ohio, and the only U.S. band on the ticket. And they're like, at the end of their set, they were like, "Yeah, we'll be down at the merch booth if you wanna come meet us. We like meeting our fans." And then the next band was Varg from Germany, and not to be confused with the a-hole Varg Vikernes from black metal notoriety, infamy. But so Varg from Germany, pagan metal band, not really very folky, but they're pretty cool. At the end of their set, they were like, "We'll be down at the merch booth. Come party with the Wolves of Germany." And then, so the singer from Thonic is Freddie Lim, and he's a member of parliament over there now, and part of the Green Party, like pro independence. And so he comes on at the end of the set after playing that song and is like, "Yeah, Doris is going to be down at the merch booth." Because their bassist is super pretty, and they're like, "Yeah, we know we're invisible when we're within 3 feet of her. No one wants to talk to us." It's like, I'd talk to you guys. You guys are rad. But
yeah, they're rad.
Yeah, so I went down there and because I was like, "Oh, hell yeah, I'm buying a t-shirt. Like, these guys are awesome." And so I went down there and I was like the last in line. And yep. And so there was like one of those, I don't know, like, I can't point too many fingers because I really like seeing concert footage from live shows and like photography and stuff. But like, they're definitely in like paparazzi kind of territory. Like the people who bring cameras to concerts.
Yeah.
Like they're less malicious, but still it's kind of like,
it's still kind of lame because it's like, just be there and enjoy the moment. Like, you don't need to remember everything through your phone.
Well, yeah, there's that, but then there's
that, but then also
that's
like
the worst version of it.
Well, the worst version of it is artistically. If an artist wants to play their new material for you, you shouldn't post it to YouTube before their album comes out.
Yeah, that's true.
That's probably the worst of it. It's like, oh, well, we're working on some new material, but it's going to end up on YouTube.
Right.
And
like 8 months before the album comes out.
Right. So don't do that, people.
Yeah, don't do that. And then it's like, also, put the phone down. Like, enjoy it. Like, like enjoy music how music was supposed to be enjoyed, not via
Also, if you're holding a phone up to be able to see over the person in front of you, that means your phone is also in the line of sight to the person behind you.
Yep. And in line of sight to the people on stage. That it's just like they're looking out over this lawn of smartphones. But so there's also like, this guy was like one of the, it's kind of a side hustle or a job or whatever, like, concert photographer kind of dude. And so he was like taking a bunch of pictures of Doris and like telling her how to pose and stuff. And it was like, oh
boy,
dude, like, could you
back off,
be
Jack?
Creepier? Yeah. And so it was like, it was that guy. And then like this little rocker girl and me. And so it was just like me and this little rocker girl were like looking at each other and like looking at this dude and just go like shaking our heads, just like, could this guy be any sleazier? And so like, you know, he finally left and she went up and like was trying to take a selfie of her and Doris. And I was like, here, give me your phone. Like I'll take a better shot for you. Like we were totally broing down over how gross the previous dude was. And then it was it got to be my turn. And I was just like, I just want to shake your hand. Like, you guys rock so hard. Like, you guys made a fan for life with one set. Yeah. So I bought a shirt. Another Thonic merch tale. I went to their website like a month after the concert, and they had a pair of cargo shorts, like camo cargo shorts with like the Thonic logo down one leg.
Uh-huh.
And it's like,
cargo shorts aren't very metal though.
Yeah, but if you know me, I pretty much live in cargo shorts.
Yeah, me too. When the weather's
camo
great.
Cargo shorts. And it was like, dude, this is a way I could like fanboy this totally awesome band. Like they're meeting me where I live. Like,
right.
This is chocolate and peanut butter.
Tailor-made.
And so I ordered them, and I think they were large. And I was like, I wear large.
Not Taiwanese large, apparently.
Yeah. And so I got them, and it was like, whoa, these are small. And it was like, oh man. And like the return process was super easy, but like they didn't have any other sizes. And like, that was the last pair pretty much.
Oh man.
And it was like, oh man, I would love to wear those. So we started out the playlist with Heidevolk, and I talked about how big those guys are. So I bought a sweatshirt. I've had two of the same sweatshirt because I wore one till it fell apart. Well, I've actually owned three of them because I ended up giving the first one to Jared, who's much bigger than me, because it was like, oh, well, I'll get a large. Like, I wear a large sweatshirt. And it was enormous.
Oh, man.
It was like, I feel like a girl wearing her boyfriend's sweatshirt. Like, my arms, like, if my arms are at my side, like, my fingertips are, like, poking out of the sleeves.
The cheerleader in the quarterback's varsity jacket.
Exactly. Like, that's how I felt every time I wore it. And so I ended up having to get a medium, I think. Or maybe it was like an extra large, and like, but yeah, so it was like, okay, like an American large is smaller than a Dutch large and bigger than a Taiwanese large. If you wear a large and you're American, you're a Taiwanese XXL and a Dutch medium.
Well, I like to wear my pants a few sizes too small, and my tops a few sizes too big.
You like that, like, butt tight Wrangler jeans look?
Well, like the skinny jeans thing, like with the really low waist. So every time you bend over, like you like have the full on plumber's crack.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
but you still wear like a big wide belt.
Yeah. Yeah, but it does really kind of does nothing for you.
Right, because it's like way down on your hips. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's a good look.
That's the look I'm going for.
Nice.
Yeah. No, I still wear like, not jingo pants, but like skater size. Like, my litmus test is if I can't put my jeans on over my pajamas, then they don't fit.
I haven't owned a pair of jeans in at least 20 years.
Probably because you're getting the wrong size.
No, I just don't like.
Now, you're a shorts guy. You wear shorts like even if it's freezing cold.
True. I'm a shorts guy, and then it's like I never felt comfortable in jeans. They were like too restrictive.
Yeah, it's the wrong size. Yeah, and then it cracks up because like during the winter like this, I'll just keep my pajamas on and then like pull jeans over it to like go get the mail or like do stuff out in the yard
to look.
But then at the end of the day, when it's time to like unwind and just like kick back and watch some shows or something with Nana, like I'll just stand there in the living room and start pulling my pants down. But then it's like, oh, he's got pajamas on underneath. So not only can you stay warmer during the winter and be comfortable during the summer, you can also like annoy people.
Nice. By
disrobing or pretending to disrobe.
Right.
In front of the public.
Man. That reminds me of Dad, like tucking his shirts in. Like,
oh yeah, sweatshirt
behind
tucked in the sweatpants. Well, yeah,
that, and then getting out of the car and like being behind the car door, like tucking his, like taking his, or loosening his belt so he could tuck his shirt in.
Yeah, I think I learned a lot of that from him when I was a little kid. Okay, you don't tuck your shirt in until you get out of the car.
Oh man, I just never tuck my shirt in.
Yeah, me neither.
Yeah, the only exception is when I'm wearing my leather pants.
Oh, well, when I wear my leather pants, I just don't wear a shirt. Yeah, or wear like a kind of crop toppy kind of thing, like the sleeves torn off,
like a mesh crop top.
No, just any kind of top, but just like where your midriff is exposed, so you can really tuck it in if you wanted to.
That's true. It's not going to reach.
Yeah. Leather pants. Oh,
well, no, I'm serious.
Okay.
my lederhosen.
Oh, your lederhosen. That makes sense.
Yeah.
Well, but those are like almost like overalls, so like you can't be untucked because you have like
I don't usually wear them with the suspenders. I'm not a Hank Selly Poika.
Yeah, the only pants I would tuck in would be overalls. But but then again, I'm probably not wearing a shirt if I'm wearing overalls too.
That's true.
Yeah.
So why aren't you into Mumford and Sons?
It's the banjo. I'll be honest, it's the banjo.
It's the banjo. All right, fair enough.
And I don't like ooh ahs. Like if it's a backup vocal, but if it's like the millennial whoop or whatever, I don't know. To me, that's like lazy songwriting.
Yeah, like if it's listed on the lyrics sheet.
Yeah,
because it's like an integral part of the song.
There's not fist pumping involved.
Whoa.
If you're like doing that, but like waving your phone or something, like, I don't know.
Or it's not just like one long kind of screamy, when you're like doing the,
like a Roger Daltrey or Sammy Hagar thing.
Yeah. Or the David Lee Roth, like backwards, bending over backwards.
Well, yeahs are okay, but like the ooh, 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 you know, that kind of thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Anyway, this next song features none of that.
None of that.
This is Sonic again with Supreme Pain for the Tyrant.
That was cool.
Yeah.
It's like
the band going.
I don't know. It's like
Dirty Dozen.
John Wick choreography or something. Yeah, man. There's kind of some Tuscan elements in there too.
Yeah. Super cool.
Wasn't that a Tuscan Raider on keyboards?
No.
Are you sure?
That's just, nobody knows what the keyboard player looks like or what the bottom half of the drummer's face looks like.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, he had that little muzzle on him. Yeah,
the little like Oni mask.
Oh, man, that'd be hard to be a metal drummer and have your breathing restricted.
I don't think it's that well, yeah. I mean, it's going to restrict you somewhat.
Anything.
Yeah.
Maybe I'm just out of shape. Old and out of shape. That's the first thing I think of. It's like, How tired would I be by the end of a song? That on my face.
Yep. I thought this instrument was going to be easy because I'm sitting down.
Oh man.
Yeah, it's like the drummer's always the guy that's like half naked. He's the one working the hardest.
Drenched in sweat.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So
that was a good one.
Yeah. Those guys are great.
I don't like tyrants.
Yeah, tyrants suck. So started out the playlist. We have a couple of kind of like, it's time to get out the red thread for the conspiracy theory wall. Yeah, get your red thread and your thumbtacks, because Heidevolk, as I mentioned, has the connection to Normal. And while I was choosing which Thonic songs to add to the playlist, and you'll notice that the first song from Thonic was Takeo, and it's about like the Japanese occupation of Taiwan during World War II.
Mm-hmm.
And like their oppression of the locals and stuff. But you may remember that there was a different Takeo mentioned on a previous episode. No relation, but a Japanese Takeo.
Right.
Takeo Ishii. So this honorable mention is Chicken Attack Live, Thonic featuring Takeo Ishii.
Oh no.
And I legit thought this was like going to be some digital mashup, deep fake kind of thing, but it's real.
I'm so into this right now.
Me too.
I'm so ready for this.
Me too. And it's like, it's on Thonic's YouTube channel. Like, they're the ones who posted it.
Oh man. That's nuts.
Right?
Two masters at their craft on vocals there.
Yep. Yeah, so when I came across Takeo Ishii looking up weird Swiss yodelers, and was like, dude, this guy is so awesome. And like, yeah, who knew that the whole time I was like 1 degree of separation. Like,
oh man,
I met their bass player. Their bass player played along with Chicken Attack.
I think it's impossible to yodel dirty. Somebody can probably do it, but it seems like the way you have to do your throat, you can't go to that. You can't jump to that falsetto.
Yeah, you're going from the
if you're
what is
out.
it, the chest voice to the head voice or whatever.
Something like that.
Yeah. Like I've wanted to learn to yodel, and every like I think I need to like hang out with someone who can yodel and not a singer, like a classically trained singer who's like is teaching yodel lessons.
Yeah.
Because it's like, no, I just want to learn, by like eating schnitzel and like drinking mugs of beer. Like I don't want to learn like the theory and like well, okay, you're using these words that make sense to you, but they're making less sense to me. Like I'm further behind. Like I'm further down the slopes of the Alps than when I started.
Yeah. Use your head voice from your diaphragm.
What? Well, I know my diaphragm.
What?
But my head voice? What does that mean?
Yeah. I don't know.
My whole voice comes out of my head.
Oh, wait. I'm hosting, huh?
Yeah.
I should have wrapped this up a long time ago, I guess.
Fault.
All right. Well, we hope you enjoyed this episode.
Yeah.
Hope you listen to some more folk metal or find your niche. There's a niche or a culture for anybody. So like get back to your roots and still enjoy your metal at the same time.
Yeah. It's chocolate and peanut butter, baby.
Yep. All right. So next week we have for the end of February, we're no longer in Folkuary at the close of this show. But the end of February, we'll be celebrating Clark's birthday with a special Clark's birthday episode,
Woohoo!
Which is going to be the year you graduated high school which was 1992.
Yep.
And the music that was popular
Last
then.
century.
Yes. So the music that was most popular in 1992 and what you were listening to instead.
Yes. And we will mention what was popular, but not
we won't be listening
feature
to it. Yeah, we won't torture. We won't torture you, dear listener.
In my opinion, 1992 was a musical nadir.
I'm going to have to disagree with you on that. I have a few honorable mentions myself to mention in that episode.
No,
there was some kick-ass music in 1992. Kick-ass music. All came out in 1992.
Okay.
So, all right. So tune in next week. And thanks for listening.
Bye.
Bye.
Checking out music with my bro. Will it dig it? Yes or no? Here we go.